The Palisades fire in January left more than scorched earth, it left shattered lives. In the early hours, as flames raced down the hillsides, entire communities were forced to make impossible choices. Some grabbed family photos, others clutched pets, and many left with nothing but the clothes on their backs. The devastation was swift, and the aftermath overwhelming. The Miller family lost their home of 30 years overnight, fleeing with only their dog and a handful of memories. Their house, once filled with laughter and milestones, was reduced to ashes in a matter of hours. Now they sift through the debris, searching for anything that survived. A wedding ring, a child's drawing, a piece of their past. For them, the fire was not just a natural disaster, but a personal tragedy that upended everything they knew. Sarah and Ben, new to Los Angeles, barely escaped with their lives, losing everything but each other. Their dreams of starting fresh in California were replaced by the harsh reality of displacement. They now live out of a motel, relying on the kindness of strangers and the support of local charities. Each day is a struggle to find hope, but their bond has only grown stronger in the face of adversity. Across the region, neighbors and volunteers have stepped up, offering food, shelter, and comfort to those who have lost everything. Community centers have become lifelines, filled with donated clothes, meals, and the warmth of shared humanity. In the darkest moments, the spirit of togetherness shines through. These aren't just statistics, they're stories of resilience and heartbreak. Every survivor carries a unique burden. Some mourn lost loved ones, others grieve for the life they once knew. The emotional scars are often invisible, but they run deep, shaping the way people see their homes and their futures. Fires like these are not distant disasters. They're happening in neighborhoods, upending lives in an instant. The threat is no longer confined to remote forests. It's at the doorstep of suburban streets, schools, and playgrounds. The sense of safety that once defined these communities has been replaced by a constant undercurrent of fear. 24 lives lost in a single month, each one a world to someone. Behind every number is a face, a family, a story cut short. Memorials dot the landscape, reminders of the fragility of life and the suddenness with which everything can change. A melted tricycle in a driveway, a silent symbol of loss, is the kind of tragedy that rarely makes headlines. These small, everyday objects, once part of ordinary routines, now stand as haunting reminders of what's been taken. For families, the loss is not just material, but deeply emotional. Survivors face not just rebuilding, but ongoing anxiety every time the wind picks up or smoke drifts in. The trauma lingers, making it hard to sleep, to plan, to feel secure. Children ask if the fire will come back. Parents struggle to reassure them, even as they worry themselves. Insurance claims, government aid, and the struggle to start over become their new reality. The process is slow and often frustrating, with paperwork and waiting replacing the comfort of home. Many find themselves navigating a maze of bureaucracy while trying to hold their families together. For many, the California dream has turned into a recurring nightmare. The promise of sunshine and opportunity is now shadowed by the threat of fire season, which grows longer and more intense each year. Hopes for the future are tempered by the reality of climate change and the uncertainty it brings. These stories warn us, behind the beauty, California is under immense pressure. The landscape is breathtaking, but it's also vulnerable, and the people who call it home are on the front lines of a changing world. The emotional toll lingers long after the flames are gone. Grief, anxiety, and uncertainty become part of daily life. Yet, amid the ashes there is also hope, a determination to rebuild, to support one another, and to find meaning in survival. Ordinary families and first responders are on the front lines of this crisis. Their courage and compassion are tested every day as they work to protect lives and restore a sense of normalcy. Their stories remind us of the strength that can emerge from tragedy. We must listen to their voices and recognize the human cost. Each story is a call to action, a reminder that behind every headline, there are real people facing unimaginable challenges. This is a reality that's getting closer for everyone. As wildfires become more frequent and severe, no one is immune to their impact. The stories from the ashes are not just about loss, they are about resilience, community, and the urgent need to protect what matters most. Imagine planning your dream trip to Los Angeles. Then wildfires erupt and everything changes. Toxic air, road closures, and sudden evacuations can turn a vacation into a scramble for safety. The sky turns orange, the air thick with smoke, especially dangerous for children, the elderly, and those with health issues. Highways close, rental cars vanish, and public transit is disrupted. You might find yourself stuck indoors, or forced to leave your hotel with no warning. Travel insurance can't erase the fear or lost time. Visiting California now means preparing for nature's unpredictability. Why is California burning? What has turned this iconic landscape, famous for its golden hills and towering forests, into a region so vulnerable to fire that a single spark can unleash devastation? Years of relentless drought have stripped the land of its moisture, leaving behind a parched, brittle environment. Rainfall has become scarce, and the once lush terrain is now marked by cracked earth and thirsty hillsides. This prolonged dryness has transformed California into a giant tinderbox where even the smallest ignition can set off a chain reaction. The hills, once vibrant with life, are now blanketed in dry, golden grass. These fields, stretching for miles, act as endless fuel, waiting for the right conditions to burst into flames. Under the relentless sun, the landscape bakes, making it even more susceptible to fire. Over 160 million dead trees, weakened by years of drought and relentless bark beetle infestations, stand as silent sentinels across the forests. These trees, stripped of their vitality, are no longer able to resist fire. Instead, they serve as perfect kindling, amplifying the risk of catastrophic wildfires. When fire reaches these dead forests, it doesn't just burn, it explodes. Crown fires leap from treetop to treetop, consuming everything in their path and creating infernos that are nearly impossible to control. But the story doesn't end with nature. For decades, well-intentioned fire suppression policies have tried to protect people and property by putting out every blaze, no matter how small. Unfortunately, these efforts have had unintended consequences. By stopping natural low-intensity fires, we've allowed forests to become dangerously overgrown. Thick underbrush and crowded canopies now fill the woods, creating a dense, flammable mass that's primed for disaster. Now, when a fire does break out, it doesn't stay small. Decades of accumulated debris and unchecked growth allow flames to race from the forest floor up into the treetops, turning what could have been a manageable fire into a raging inferno. Ironically, our attempts to protect the land have made it more vulnerable than ever. The aftermath is a landscape scarred by fire, with charred remnants standing as reminders of what's been lost. Today's megafires are not just the result of natural forces, they're fueled by a combination of climate change, human intervention, and decades of policy decisions. The line between nature and human impact has blurred, creating a perfect storm for disaster. California's landscape is now primed for disaster, a tinderbox waiting for a spark. The question is not if another fire will come, but when and how devastating it will be. The crisis began with a misunderstanding of California's ecology. Early conservationists pushed for total fire suppression, ignoring centuries of natural fire cycles. This policy backfired. Forests became choked with fuel, setting the stage for today's infernos. Recent failures have made things worse. Prevention budgets slashed, critical water sources offline during emergencies. Firefighters have been left without resources, and communities without protection. Short-term politics have trumped long-term safety. Infrastructure and communication failures compound the risk. Policy mistakes have poured gasoline on the fire. As public resources falter, the wealthy are hiring private firefighting crews to protect their homes. This creates a two-tiered system. Those who can pay get extra protection, while others are left vulnerable. Insurance companies are pulling out of high-risk areas and premiums are soaring. Hundreds of thousands now rely on minimal, expensive state coverage. Private firefighting is a symptom of public failure, not a solution. It signals a breakdown in trust and community. The financial burden is shifting to ordinary people. Safety is becoming a luxury, not a right. Wildfires are devastating California's iconic parks and wildlands. Ancient sequoias, coastal chaparral, and diverse habitats are being lost, sometimes forever. Fires can sterilize soil, pollute waterways, and trigger landslides. Burned forests are often replaced by flammable, non-native grasses, creating a cycle of destruction. These changes threaten biodiversity and erase natural history. For travelers, trails and campgrounds may be closed or unrecognizable. The loss is not just ecological, it's personal and cultural. Wildfires also release massive amounts of carbon, undermining climate goals. The health of our forests is tied to the health of our planet. Protecting these places is an urgent challenge. For thousands of years, indigenous Californians have been stewards of the land, developing a deep understanding of fire's role in the ecosystem. Through careful observation and experience, they learned to use controlled burns, intentional low-intensity fires, to maintain the health of forests, grasslands, and oak woodlands. These practices were not just about survival but about nurturing the land for future generations. These good fires cleared away dense underbrush and dead material that could fuel larger, more destructive wildfires. By opening up the forest floor, they allowed sunlight to reach new plants, encouraging a rich diversity of species. Animals too benefited from the renewed habitat and abundance of food that followed a burn. But when European settlers arrived, they misunderstood fire's purpose and banned these ancient practices. Instead, they imposed a policy of total fire suppression, believing all fire was dangerous. Over time, this approach led to the dangerous buildup of flammable material, setting the stage for the catastrophic wildfires we see today. Today, a new movement is gaining momentum. Indigenous tribes, in partnership with scientists, land managers, and local communities, are working to revive cultural burning. They're sharing traditional knowledge, collaborating on prescribed burns, and educating the public about the benefits of working with fire, not against it. Prescribed burns are being reintroduced across California, carefully planned and monitored to restore balance to fire-adapted landscapes. These efforts help reduce the risk of uncontrollable wildfires, protect homes and communities, and bring back the natural cycles that have shaped these lands for millennia. This is not a quick fix, but a long-term commitment to healing the land. It's about respecting the rhythms of nature, learning patience, and understanding that true resilience comes from working in harmony with the environment. Tribal knowledge, passed down through generations, is now guiding a new approach to land management, one that values both science and tradition and brings communities together to care for the land. The ambitious goal is to treat 1 million acres a year with good fire, restoring California's forests and grasslands to a healthier, more resilient state. This is a profound shift in thinking, one rooted in humility, respect, and a willingness to learn from the wisdom of those who have cared for these lands the longest. The future of California's landscapes depends on our ability to listen, learn, and honor the lessons of the past as we face the challenges of a changing world. Visiting California now means being prepared. Check fire maps and air quality apps before and during your trip. Pack N95 masks, a go bag with essentials, and a physical map in case of emergencies. Sign up for local alerts and know your hotel's evacuation plan. If an evacuation warning comes, don't wait, be ready to leave. Let someone know your plans and check in regularly. Be flexible. Parks may close, air may be smoky, and plans may change. Explore indoor attractions or unaffected areas as backups. Preparation and adaptability are key to a safe adventure. Embrace uncertainty, and you can still enjoy California's beauty. The wildfire crisis is daunting, but you can help. Be a responsible traveler, never start fires where banned, and avoid risky behavior. Support local businesses and donate to relief efforts. Advocate for smarter fire policies and share what you learn. Your actions and voice matter. Help shift the conversation toward solutions. Let the crisis inspire stewardship, not fear. Together we can help California heal and keep its golden dream alive.